Hey everybody, what's going on? If you've ever wondered how to add like lens flare or like a glare, like maybe you're working on a car and you want the headlights to kind of glow and have that little glare effect to them, this is this video for you. First thing you want to do is delete that default cube and then add in a cube and then model your car. Got your car? Cool. This is my car. I'm not going to actually model one because no thank you. So what we're going to do, I am going to scale this down though. You can, so obviously you're going to need a material for this, so just add in your material. You can, if you'd like, you can go under surface and change this from principled VSDF to an emissions. You don't have to. You can just come down here and change the emission right here. Just change it to 0.8 and then change the color. We'll make this one like red, and then you can change the emission strength here to like 5. And if you want to make sure that's working, this does work on Eevee and Cycles, but on Eevee you can just check the bloom and then make sure you're in material preview, and you can see the difference if you want to make sure that you're, it's the emissions actually working. So that is one way to do it. You can also just add in an emissions node, make this red, change this to 5 again, and there you go. Same effect. So it doesn't really matter what you do. So what we are going to do though is just to show you, because it works on both it works on any shape, but we'll add in a sphere, since most likely what you're actually going to be using this on is going to be sphere. So just move this up to 1 and then put this to 5. And what I would like is just to show off. Boom. Change this one to red, and oh, I actually wanted to do that. Hang on. Okay, and then just for my sake, I kind of want to just boop, boop. There we go. We'll crawl. There we go. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna have to render this out first. Otherwise, because you want to go into your, we're gonna go in the compositing tab, but it won't work if you don't render this out first. So do your render, and then once you've got that done, go into compositing, the compositing tab up here at the top, and then you're going to click on use nodes. Get a little space here. You can either shift A, you should know that one, but if you don't, there you go, shift A, just like on everything else. You can either add one this way, or you can come up here and click add, and then it's under output and viewer. You can also just search viewer, but it's under output, viewer. That's what we want. You're gonna drag your image into here. Now we can see what we're working with here. And then we will add in a glare node. And if you want this to affect the render, so if we do this, you tag, so now you can already see it's taking effect, but if you go back to your original render, you won't see it because the glare has to be into the composite tab. And now if you do that and you go back to your render result, you'll see the effect. But that's pretty much all you really need to do. You just and then just play around with some of the settings. You've got streaks, there's ghosts, which has a couple different little settings here you can mess around with. You got the reiterations, so iterations. I said reiterations. You just got the iterations. There's stuff you can kind of play with. You can, I believe the mix is, yeah. So on the mix, if you turn this down to like -1, that's just your image. That's just your render. Whatever you had there, there you go. That's just the original. There's no glare. That's gone now. Zero, or is it? Yeah, 0 is a mixture of both. It's a complete 50-50 mix, and then +1 is just the glare right now. It's just the glare filter. Everything else is gone. It's just this. So usually you just leave this at 0. Play around with some of this, so you can see the colors are kind of changing here. This is on the ghost one. If you're looking for more of like the lens flare, you're probably going to be more on streaks or simple star. We'll go to streaks, and then I'm just kind of showing you all what this little filter can do. You got the iterations. You can again change. You got the colors as well here, and then you can do obviously the same thing. Mix, threshold, same thing. Streaks is going to change obviously the amount of streaks. So you can see on the cube there's 4. You can see it on the sphere as well. It's not quite as it's noticeable, but it's not quite as obvious as the cube one. So if we change this to 5, now there's 5. Change it to 6. Now you've got 6. So that's just kind of the way that one works. You can obviously mess with the color mod here and kind of change some of the effects. We can do that. We can add like, I think it goes up to 16. Yeah, okay, so this one goes to 16. Let this load. There you go. We can kind of mess, again, you just mess around with some of the settings and you'll be able to kind of get something that looks pretty nice. You can play around with, and I believe the threshold also plays a direct factor into the strength as well. You can mess around with the strength. If you change the strength here, if you change it to like 2, you'll see the render layers will change, but nothing actually changes. You have to re-render. Then that would be when you would see any kind of effect. As you can see, there you go. See, now that I change this down, it changes the effect. If I move this up to like 15 and do another render, you can see it has different effects depending on the strength of your missions. So just mess around with this, have some fun with it. I'll show you really quick while we still have you here that this does work on cycles. So just go into cycles. Again, you have to do a render, so we're gonna set this to like 20. Actually, probably like 50. I could probably put it down to 5. It doesn't really matter. All right, as you just saw on the bottom there, the render just updated. I'm still on cycles, going to compositing, and boom, there you go. So still works. Still works on cycles, works on Eevee, works on both of them. So yeah, have fun. That is how you would create a glare, or kind of like a little bit of like a lens flare effect. You can do either or, and have, you know, just have some fun with it. Just mess around with it, see what works for you, and what works for the scene that you were trying to create. So yeah, hope that helped. If it did, drop a like and consider subscribing. First time I've made kind of like a tutorial type of thing like this before. But I hope you all have a good rest of your day. I'm Dusty Mill. Bye, everybody.